Hello there, Ray here, and today guys, I'm going to show you how you can fly in survival Minecraft without using an Elytra. All you need is a minecart, a fishing rod, a ledge, and some fast clicking. So if I hop into this minecart and I click extremely fast, you see my guy is going to take off. If I go in F5 mode, you can see he is actually flying. Yes guys, this can be done in survival. Now I can even control this, so if I turn this direction, my guy will start flying this way. If I turn this direction, I can go this way. I can even turn around and go whatever direction I want. You see I'm slowly gaining altitude as well. I'm going above the clouds. You can see the villages way down below me. And if you want to go back down, you just stop clicking and your minecart will start to fall again. And then at any time you can go ahead and start clicking again and you will start to fly once again and also gain some altitude. This is such a crazy thing that you can do in survival. You may even think this is a glitch. But I'll go into exactly how this works, and it might not even be considered a glitch after you see how it works. I first discovered this behavior during my Twitch stream, where I accidentally clicked into a minecart while having a fishing rod while spamming it, and I noticed that I could propel myself across the ground. Then I uploaded a video and asked you guys what other things should I test with this. And you guys suggested trying to fly with this, and initially it didn't work because if you spam straight downwards, you don't just elevate up out of the ground. But if you fall off a little ledge, so if I make a little ledge here about 2 blocks, you're able to fall down enough so then you get a hold of the minecart and you're able to fly past it. So let's go ahead and give it a try. If I just spam my fishing rod and I fall into this little hole, you can see I'm able to fly beyond that point. So how exactly does this work? So it works with the fishing rod attaching to entities. So if I throw my fishing rod somewhat close to this minecart's hitbox, which we can show by pressing F3 plus B, you can see all the entities and their hitbox. And if I throw a fishing rod somewhat near it, it'll automatically attach to this entity, which is the closest one to it. Now if I go ahead and reel in my fishing rod, you can see it pulls the minecart a little bit closer. This is essentially what we're doing, except when we hop into the minecart ourselves, we have a hitbox, but the fishing rod's not going to attach to our hitbox, since we're the one throwing out the fishing rod. Now if I throw out the fishing rod, the rod's going to leave the player somewhat near the center, and it's going to find an entity, which is going to be the minecart underneath of him. So if I aim downwards and then throw my fishing rod, you see that it attaches to the minecart. And then when I reel it in, it's going to move towards the center of my player, where the fishing rod comes from. And since the bobber is attached below the player, when I click, it's going to try to pull the minecart upwards. But notice when I pull the bobber in, I actually don't move at all. But the secret comes in spam clicking, as when you spam click, the fishing rod goes out very quickly, but then it immediately gets pulled back in. This doesn't really give it time to go really far out. Instead, it will immediately attach to the minecart and get pulled directly inwards towards the player. And since the player is always above the minecart will always try to move a little bit upwards. And also depending on which way you reel the fishing rod in, will determine which way the game thinks you're trying to pull the minecart when you reel it back in. That's why when I face like this direction, I can pull myself this way, and if I face this way, I can go the other way. Here are the hit boxes on. You can kind of see how the bobber is going out in front of me, but then it's quickly attaching to the center of my minecart, and you can see how it's a little bit off center as I pull myself across. So the way that you can pull this off is you get yourself a minecart that's not on a rail. Get yourself a bunch of fishing rods. Unbreaking will make them last longer. And you can do this in creative mode or survival mode. I'll show you guys that this can be done in survival as well. So now to spam click, you can use like a auto clicker to spam very quickly, or you can actually do this in the vanilla game without any modifications by going to your controls and then just changing a right click button to a keyboard button. I'm just using the period. You can use whatever button you want to. Now you just press that button, you hop in the minecart. Now by pressing your button on your keyboard that goes to your mouse. Now by pressing the button on your keyboard that goes to the use command, which is your right click on your mouse normally, it's going to act very similar to you actually pressing like a keyboard button. So if I go ahead and press it, you see that first I start out by throwing it once, and then from there on I start spamming it. This is very similar to typing. If I press a key, you notice it presses 1 and then it starts to spam the keyboard with a whole bunch of that same letter. And this is a really cool trick that I showed you guys way back in 1.13. So essentially what I'm going to do is just hold down that button on my keyboard, and you see my guy is spamming the fishing rod. And right now I'm not using any uses of the fishing rod because the bobber is not touching anything. But if I catch fish with the fishing rod, it'll take 1 durability. And if the bobber lands against the ground and I pull it in, it'll take 2 durability. If it comes in contact with some entities such as the minecarts and other things, it'll take quite a bit of durability. So by using our fishing rod onto the minecart, we're going to take quite a bit of durability from the fishing rod. That's why I got a bunch of them set aside here. Now all you have to do is hold on that button and then point in the opposite direction in which you want to move. So if I want to move this direction towards that little hole that we made, then I want to face this direction. And you need to drop about 2 blocks before your guy will be able to fly. So now you get everything you need. Let's go ahead and give it a try. Aim downwards or go in F5 mode. Hold down that button, that's your keyboard for the mouse, and voila, you start to fly. Notice that you do take quite a bit of damage to your fishing rods, but you can actually fly in survival. It's controllable. You can control which way you want to go. Notice I also got a fishing rod in my offhand, so as soon as my fishing rods break in my main hand, I can still spam with the other fishing rod and keep flying until I switch over into another fishing rod, which I'm using. And this way you can continue to fly. And of course, if you don't want to go so high, you can stop spamming and then you will move downwards. And it's just almost like a blimp. You're flying over top of everything and you can kind of slowly move across. It's kind of a more enjoyable flying than Elytras. Elytras kind of seem really fast. This is like really slow and you kind of get a nice slow view of everything around you. And you can even hear the minecart as it is moving across the air. It's actually making the minecart rail sound. And there I'm above the clouds. Now if you're quick, you can even switch to some more fishing rods that are in your inventory. So if you get some altitude, I can go in here and get in a bunch more fishing rods and then start spamming once again. As long as you don't touch the ground, you'll be fine. Now if you do try to come down in for a landing, it doesn't really matter like what speed you come in for landing. As soon as you touch the ground, your guy instantly dies. This is because the game thinks you're actually falling a lot quicker than what you really are, but you can actually avoid this by putting some feather falling boots on you. So now I got some feather falling, so I can go down and land. Let's see if I can go down. Yep, see I touch the ground. I do take a little bit of damage, but it prevents me from dying. That way you can land, and then if you want to take off, you do need to have kind of a ledge. So if you kind of drop a couple of meters like that, you can go ahead and get started again. And then you're off again. It's pretty amazing. I really enjoy just the feel of this. Like I really say, it feels like I'm flying in like a balloon, like a hot air balloon or like a blimp. Kind of just observing everything from straight downwards. Now you do have to aim straight downwards to enable for your guy to fly upwards. If you like aim this direction, your guy is not going to be flying, you're just going to fall to the ground. But you can still rotate just by rotating your player. Even though you're pointing straight downwards, your guy is going to have a slight angle in which way the game thinks you're pulling the fishing rod. Now, if you have enough fishing rods, you can go pretty much as high as you want because there's no limit to altitude, as you could just keep going up and up and up here. I'm way above the clouds already. But you are kind of limited on how many fishing rods you can carry in your inventory. Eventually run out. Now you can also do this with normal fishing rods, except it'll go through the uses about 4 times as fast as the Unbreaking 3 one, which we were using before. Let's go ahead and give it a try and see how far we can get. Yeah, you can see how fast it uses up the normal fishing rods, but you're still able to do it. I think you're able to get high enough. You should be able to switch out the fishing rods with some more in your inventory. But yeah, because you're pulling on an entity, it uses up a lot more duration than if you're using them to catch like fish. So I can go to my inventory and fill up my hotbar once again and start spamming. And then you can continue flying. It's pretty amazing, but it does use a lot of use of your fishing rods up. How crazy it would look just to see some guy flying across the world in a minecart in survival. Now this doesn't just work for minecarts, it also works for other rideable entities in the game. So we got some boats here, we got some pigs, we got some llamas, and we even got a horse around here. And let's see how each of them act when you try to fly with them. Let's go ahead and test the boat first, as it's very similar to the minecart. Hop into it and let's start to spam. It is pulling me off a ledge. You kind of see how it's glitchy where it moves itself just by little by little. Oh wow, that's so weird. Like I fall downwards, but I fall very slowly. But it seems I'm unable to fly. Next up, let's try a pig with a saddle on it. Let's hop on it. Start spam clicking. Like he wants to fly, but he kind of falls down. Now there is a potion called slow falling, which makes entities fall much slower. Let's go ahead and try that. Now it cannot be applied to minecarts or like boats, but it can be applied to stuff like pigs. So here's a 4-minute slow falling potion. Let's apply this to the pig, and then we will go ahead and use the saddle on it. Now let's start spamming. Yes! Yeah, we're flying. That's amazing. I can turn on hitboxes so you guys can see. Now it seems like the pig doesn't gain altitude as fast as the minecart does. I think it might have to do with the slow falling potion maybe. Just a little bit slower. So with that slow falling potion, if I just stop, you see I slowly go down. Definitely gives you a lot more time to recover, and you could do more precise moving with it as well. But it seems when it comes to gaining altitude, the pig hardly gains anything compared to the minecart, but it is slowly going upwards. But it looks so crazy, just a guy flying on a pig in survival across the air. You'd think this guy would be like hacking or something, but this can all be done without using any hacks. So let's see when it comes to landing, if I can land this pig. I should be able to since he has slow falling. Shouldn't take any damage, it looks all good. Nice. Let's try a llama next. I gave it tame 100, so it should tame very quickly. Actually, it should tame instantly as soon as I jump onto it. Now let's see if we get this llama to fly. Okay, it seems like it has like the same problem as the pig. So let's go ahead and give it some slow falling. Oh, wow. Okay, that works really good. Wow, the llama, yeah, llama takes off very nice. Looks like he is getting altitude much faster than the pig. One thing you can notice about the llama is the hitbox around it is not centered where the player is. So the player isn't sitting exactly in the center of the llama, so if I aim like this direction, I'm able to move a lot of distance as well as getting altitude, but if I turn my rod this direction, I'm actually just falling downwards and I'm not moving laterally as well. So llama seems really nice as it's really easy to take off and he can move very quickly across the air, but just you can't really turn very well. You only can go like one direction. Kind of go this direction, I guess, and this direction, but yeah, you can't really go at all backwards. It seems if I aim this direction, I'm just barely keeping the llama at the same height, but he is slowly going downwards. Let's go ahead and land the llama. We'll land it right over here. Nice. So the nice thing about the llama is that it can move up one high blocks. So I'm actually walk up the blocks, so it makes it really easy to take off. So I can go ahead and fly over here. And if I want to take off again, I can just spam and I can take off. Looks like I can even take off from the water. That's pretty amazing. Yeah, I was just able to take off directly from the water. That was pretty cool. So it seems like the llama is a lot easier to take off, meaning that you could kind of go anywhere. Let's see if I just go, will I get kicked off the llama? No. Okay, so land in the water. Let's see if I take off again. Nice. I was just able to take off directly from the water. That's really cool. And with the slow falling, you kind of just land anywhere. You don't have to worry about your llama taking any damage. Yeah, it really reminds you of like a hot air balloon or something. And with that downward perspective, like you're always looking downwards, not really able to look any other directions. You can't really see where you're going. I mean, you can stop and look to the side, but when you're operating it, you do have to look downwards. But if you see some cool like ocean runes, I see ocean runes over here, we can go ahead and stop, and our llama will just go downwards into the water. I guess we could hop off, and we can go explore those. We can always come back and hop back onto the llama. And then you could just take off right from the water. Oh, that is so awesome. And go on your travels. Go check out some other place. Let's try out a horse now. Let's give this horse a saddle. Let's give it a try. So we're on the ledge. Let's go ahead and spam click. Yeah, it seems very jerky, similar to the boat. And I'm falling, but I'm kind of slowly falling down, but eventually do hit the ground. It don't seem they can fly with the horse. Let's just make sure by giving the horse some slow falling and give it another try. Yeah, it still seems jerky. I think it has to do the same as the boat. Both boats as well as horses are kept track of client side, meaning that the client is a little bit desynced from the server, and the server don't really know where they're at all the time. This is different than like the minecarts and other mobs, which are server side, so they're kept track of more precisely. So it seems you can't have like a flying mule or donkey to carry all your stuff, but you can carry some stuff in your llama. Now another thing we could test is a boat riding a minecart, so we could do this by pushing a minecart on some curve rails near a boat, and it'll pick up the boat. So now the boat is inside the minecart, And we can click inside the boat, and now we are inside of the boat, and the boat is inside the minecart. Let's see if we can fly, get this edge here, and fall downwards. No, don't seem like we can fly. It might have to do with us being in the boat. So we're in the boat, we're not quite in the center probably, or maybe because we're at a different wide level as if we're into the minecart. That's probably why we're not able to get a good pull on the minecart. In some cases, you're unable to actually fly because you pull on the wrong entity. So if you have like a minecart that has a pig riding in it, when I throw my fishing rod from above, a lot of times it's going to attach to the pig. But since the pig isn't at the very bottom of the stack of entities, when I pull on the pig, it's not going to allow me to fly. Let's go ahead and just try it. I'll show you guys. See if I aim downwards, I'm actually just aiming at the pig. And since I'm not clicking on the minecart, because it's lower than the pig, I'm not able to move or anything like that. Because if I pull on the pig, you're not able to do anything. It's only when you actually pull the minecart. So other combinations of like horses inside of minecarts or llamas inside of minecarts would all prevent you from reaching the minecart at the very bottom. So it seems that the three main ones you can use is the minecart, the pig in the saddle, as well as the llama. And each kind of have their benefits. I really like the minecart because you can move upwards really quickly. You also can rotate yourself so you can fly in every direction. And the llama is really cool because you can easily take off because they can hop up one high blocks. And there's also storage inside of them if you put a chest on them. The downside is you can't rotate in all directions very easily. But you can still gain altitude fairly easy compared to like the pig. I think it mostly does with like the hitbox. So if you had a model that had a really big hitbox, then you could easily gain a lot of altitude. But you can sort of turn with the llama since the llama will rotate the player depending on which way he's facing. So right now, you see if I would use a fishing rod on the llama, I would be going backwards, but if the llama would turn, so now he's turned a different direction if I hop onto it, you can see that now if I use a fishing rod on it, I'd be going in that direction. So you'd have to try to get the llama to rotate in order to kind of fly in different directions, which is kind of another little cool challenge to do with them. But it's also the downside of having a llama. The pig's really nice because you're flying in a pig. I mean, what's funnier than flying pig? I mean, there's even advancement for flying a pig off a cliff. Let's see if actually we get the advancement. Let's see if we get the advancement when a pig flies. We'll give the pig some slow falling for a short period of time. And the advancement says you have to have a pig fall at least 5 meters and you have to be riding it when it does that. So let's see if it actually works when you're flying like this. Okay, so the pig's gonna lose its feather falling. It fell and I did not get the advancement. So it seems that they have removed the advancement for Java, but it's still in a lot of the other versions of Minecraft. That's a bit unfortunate because that would have been a cool way to get that advancement. It's such a crazy behavior, but essentially it's not even a glitch because all you're doing is pulling the minecart closer to yourself, and yourself just happens to be above the minecart. What's so crazy about this is this has probably been possible for quite a few versions already. I'm actually going back and see what version this started in. I'm guessing it's probably in 1.9 where they introduced the ability to throw fishing rods and they would attach to different entities. But even in prior version, you might be able to attach to entities such as like pigs on a saddle. Okay, I'm in version 1.8 and I got a minecart here, I got a fishing rod, I got quite a few of them actually. Let's go ahead and see if this works. I will throw my fishing rod somewhat near there, it looks like attached to it. So it seems I can attach to it, but just visually not very good. It's kind of bouncing all over the place. Wow, that is pretty poor. Let's go ahead and see if we can pull it. I'll stand over here and then I'll pull. Yep, so I'm able to pull the minecart. So let's see if we're actually able to fly with it. If I hop into it and I drop my fishing rod, I think it attached to it. It's kind of bobbing underneath me. Let's go ahead and spam click. So it seems that I'm going only in one direction, don't matter which way I face. But I am moving, so let's see if I can fly once I fall off this ledge here. I'm definitely falling. I guess I'm moving sideways and falling, but I'm not able to fly. So I guess you just can't fly with this, but you can still do this trick where you can move yourself without needing to have any rails underneath you using a minecart. Let's try it with a pig now. Here's a pig in a saddle. Let's start spam clicking. Because the rods act a little bit differently in this version where they actually hurt stuff. I mean, it looked like they hurt him, but they don't actually hurt him. But yeah, it looks like maybe what goes on is it kind of slows the pig from falling, but the pig isn't actually flying, so I'm just sitting on the water spamming the pig. So it seems version 1.8 is the version that it doesn't work in, and 1.9 is the one that it starts working in. Because in that version they kind of redid entities and fishing rods. So it works from version 1.9 to 1.14.4. That is the most recent version that is out and that I'm testing it in. But it should work in future versions. I see no reason why it shouldn't. I want to go ahead and test and see what it looks like from the perspective of somebody else. So if you just happen to come across some guy flying in a minecart, this is what it would look like. Let's go ahead and start flying. Oh my goodness. Man, it looks so strange. Like you can see the fishing rod kind of moving if you're somewhat close to it. Let me come back down a little bit. Oh, it looks so crazy. Looks like some guy's like hacking in front of you. Like I said, this is probably one of the craziest things that I've ever discovered in Minecraft. I really enjoy messing around with this. It was a lot of fun with everybody playing around with this during our Twitch streams. If you guys haven't already, be sure to go ahead and follow me there. And if you haven't subscribed to me here on YouTube, be sure to go ahead and do that as well. I discover a lot of crazy glitches like this, and I think you really enjoy it. Also got tons of farms and stuff that you can find on my YouTube channel. And if you guys did enjoy this video, be sure to go ahead and leave it a like and show your appreciation by sharing this video with someone else. I think they'll love it as well. I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.